everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
And I'm Chris Ferzoco. Today's video actually is going to be market statistics. And we're going to be covering the first half of 2023, Joe, versus the first half of 2022.
Nice.
Just kind of see how those, those two halves do compare to each other in this ever-changing real estate market we're in. And hopefully this information here, folks, will help you with your buying process if you are considering buying down the shore, or if you're considering selling. It may help give you some information and direction as to what's happening with the real estate market down here at the shore as well. Naturally, we cover a whole lot of areas, Joe, as we mentioned in many of our videos. We cover from Brigantine down into Ventnor, Margate. We cover into Ocean City, Sea Isle City, down to Avalon, Stone Harbor, down into the Wildwoods. We do cover the Wildwoods, cover Wildwood, West Wildwood, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest down to Diamond Beach, out into Cape May. Naturally swinging up into the primary home market, into North Cape May Courthouse, into the Middle Township area, Upper Township, and obviously into Summers Point as well and parts of Atlantic County. So we cover a vast area. Gosh, it is about a total of 35 to 40 miles that we cover, folks. So we really are everywhere when it comes to the Jersey Shore. So if you have any information or any requests for information that you have, don't be ever afraid to reach out to us. You can reach out to us via email, text message, or phone call naturally. All that information is right in the text below on this video. So ultimately, Joe, we're going to be looking at market statistics. But before we do that, let's go hit the town right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco. If this is your first time to the channel, please subscribe below, hit that bell for instant notifications, and please hit the like button, and you'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information, statistics, what's going on at the Jersey Shore, top 5 bars, restaurants, things to that. We've got a plethora of videos that you can be choosing from here on our YouTube channel. Please check them out. And folks, whether you are looking to buy or sell here at the Jersey Shore, next week, next month, 6 months, a year from now, please reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. It will be our pleasure to help you with all of your real estate needs down here at the Jersey Shore. As Chris said, we cover about 35 miles from coast, north coast, from Brigantine all the way down to Cape May. So just reach out to us. So Chris, we're going to take a look at market statistics, mid-year review, 2023 compared to 2022. See just how different those two markets really are. So why don't you get cracking, get us going on the Ocean City market.
Absolutely. So we got some great information there, folks. And what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover, obviously, the overall sales value of property. We're going to cover the number of properties that came on the market. We're going to cover the number of properties that have sold. And we're also going to cover the sale value versus the list price as well. So those are kind of the 4 main categories that we're going to be covering here for you folks. Starting in Ocean City, as Joe said, Ocean City's value in the first half of 2022 was $1,055,000. And in 2023 jumped way up to 1.23 million. So that's fantastic for all you sellers out there. Congratulations on that big jump. But again, we had a nice significant increase in overall value in Ocean City. Now, when we look at the number of properties that actually came on the market, Joe, we did see a decrease there. We went from 721 last year to down to 692 in 2023. So we are seeing a bit of a slowdown in the first half of this year versus last year on the number of properties coming for sale. As for the number of properties that actually get sold, we actually did see a decrease there as well. So kind of working in conjunction with the number of properties coming for sale. We went from 475 to 359 properties selling in the first half of this year. So pretty significant decrease, but again, it just really is just right in line with the properties coming on the market as well. So just less to choose from.
Sure.
All right. And now, as for the sale price versus list price, actually virtually the same. It did drop, went from 97% down to 95.5%. But remember what I said to you earlier. They went from 97% of $1,055,000 to 95% of 1.2 million. So we're starting at a higher price point here, folks. So the actual differential is not as great as it may sound when you're talking about that overall sale price to list price. Moving down a little bit into our next favorite short town, which is Sea Isle City, or one of our favorites, I should say, folks, not excluding anybody else now, don't get upset. So we actually had 1.48 million average sale price in 2022, the first half. We actually did drop in Sea Isle. We dropped down to 1.37 million in the overall sale price. So we did see a little bit of a decrease there. As for the number of properties coming for sale, it was actually virtually the same. We got 139 in 2022, just dropped to 135, so virtually no change there in the number of properties for sale.
How about that?
The number of properties that sold, though, we did see a bit of a decrease from 115 to 98. So we are seeing a little bit of a slower first half in Seattle City versus last year.
Sure.
And again, just like Ocean City, as for the overall sale price, we did see a drop from 97% down to 95%.
Okay.
So just a little bit of a variation there. And again, opposite of Ocean City, Joe, we are starting at a lower sale price and we're getting less of the actual list price in Seattle currently as it sits in the first half.
Interesting. How about that?
Yeah,
So, Chris, we jump into the Wildwoods, and I will say a couple things that I did notice when I was doing, putting some of these numbers together is listings as far as properties that came on the market in 2023 compared to 2022. As much as we thought that it was tight in 2022, not one town had more properties coming on the market in 2023 compared to 2022. So inventory still, that still remains very, very tight. But let's jump into North Wildwood. Average sale price, pretty much almost identical. $515,000 for 2023, $522 in 2022. We look at the number of properties that came onto the market. So we had 153 come on the market the first half of the year. This year, compared to 174 last year. So drop, there was a drop there. And as far as properties that sold, I had 111 properties sell first half of this year compared to 137 last year. So kind of what you were saying, like with Seattle and Ocean City, it kind of, it mirrors the amount of properties coming on. There's less coming on, less transactions. So, that does sort of mirror each other. Your average sale price, 97% list price to sale price for 2023, the first half of the year. The first half of last year, we were right around 98%. Both years, both starting same price, $529 and actually $530 last year. So almost identical there. Jumping into Wildwood, average sale price is $457,000 for the first half of the year compared to $444 in 2022. And then again, getting into properties listed, properties sold, 187 came on the market the first half of this year compared to 226 last year. And then we look at 127 for properties sold and 157 last year. Again, mirroring less properties coming on, less transactions. Average sale price to list price, 98% for the first half of 2023, with your average list price at about $467,000 and your average sale price being around $457,000. So we jump into the Crest, big jump here with your average sale price went from $566 the first half of last year to $703,000. So almost a $150,000 increase in your price. In Wildwood Crest for the first half this year. 125 properties came on the market. That dropped by about 40 total units. We had 90 units close in the first half of 2023 compared to 180. Wow. So a 50% reduction, right? That's the math, right? Did half the transactions in the second half of this year compared to last year. So, and your list price to sale price, identical, 96, 97%. I will say that your average sale price last year, list price, was $575. Your average list price this year was $729. So kind of like with Ocean City, you're starting $150,000 higher. So, that's great. The numbers are kind of the same, but you also started $150,000 higher. So we go into Cape May. Your average sale price is $1.57 million in 2023 for the first half compared to just $1 million in 2022. And then as far as listings that came on the market, we had 58 compared to 99 in 2022. 51 total transactions closed in 2023, the first half compared to 82 last year. And then of course, this was the biggest jump. We had your average list price to sale price was 96%. Now when your average list price was 1.6, your average sale price is 1.57. Now your average list price was 99% in Cape May. In 2022, they were almost getting 100% of their list price. Problem was they were starting at $1 million, and they were selling for $1 million. So now you're starting at $1.6 million, and you're getting 4% less. I think I'd rather start at $1.6 million and get 2 to 3% less. So Diamond Beach, Sea Point Village, kind of the same thing, Chris. Your average sale price was $657,000 in the first half of 2023. Not a lot of properties come on the market. Diamond Beach and Sea Point Village, very limited in that area. We only had 13 come on the market this year. First half compared to 24. We only had 10 transactions in the first half of this year compared to 23 last year. So that's sort of the that's the southern tip of what we cover with regards to Cape May, getting all the way, Cape May County all the way down into Cape May. I know you want to jump offshore a little bit in Summers Point and Upper Township.
Yeah, I'm looking at Summers Point too. We actually had an increase in the overall sales value. We actually jumped from 362 to 373. So just a modest jump, but still, hey, it's in the upward trending market still for the primary home market. So that's a good sign for Summers Point.
Sure.
As for the number of properties that are listed, we did see a pretty significant decrease in the first half. We went from 176 to 131.
Okay.
So I mean that's fairly significant when you think about the number of properties being available for potential buyers. Especially heading through the spring and for the summer months there.
Yeah.
So it is fairly significant when you look at the first halves there. As for the number of properties that had sold, we did see a decrease there. We went from 115 just down to 81 in the first half of this year. So again, just in that situation where you're seeing less properties come on the market, you have less sales because there's just not enough inventory. It doesn't mean there's less buyers. If you're a seller out there, that doesn't mean there's less buyers out there. It just means there's less choices for them.
Sure.
So that's what's kind of showing that little bit of a decrease there in the number of properties turning over.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
At the same side, on the flip side of that, if you're a seller, you should consider coming on the market because buyers need inventory, they need choices. So there's never been a better time for either side of that equation to be buying real estate.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Now, for the list price, the sale price, virtually the same, 99.9% in 2022 versus 98.6. So we've really pretty much the exact same numbers in the overall sale price and list price. So that's Summers Point. Dropping down into Upper Township, we actually saw an increase there in value as well. We went from 433, Joe, up to 463 in the first half. So nice to see, again, the value there. Both primary home markets that I'm talking about, both saw their overall values increasing one half of the year versus the other.
Gotcha.
As for the number of properties that listed, went from 144 down to 84. So again, that's a pretty significant drop. That's a lot of inventory that's not coming to the market, which showed up on the other side of that when you only went from 89 down to 62 properties that sold.
Yeah.
So you're just seeing, folks, again, just to reiterate for a second, we just don't have enough inventory for the buyers that are out there. It doesn't mean there's less buyers.
Sure.
We just need more inventory, and all those sales numbers will increase as well. As for the sale price versus list price dropped from 98 down to 96%. Again, we're starting a little bit higher, so that's the positive there, but we are seeing a little bit more of negotiation, if you will, and a little bit more of an adjustment in pricing in Upper Township than I've seen in some of the other primary home markets that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's where you nailed it with the, a little bit more negotiating going on between the buyer and the seller. I mean, yes, granted for the seller, you are starting at a higher price point, but there is a little bit more of that negotiating going on. So let's jump into Cape May Courthouse. So your average sale price was $380,000 in the first half of 2023 compared to $368. So it did jump up from last year. We had 140 units come on the market in the first half of 2023. Had 167 last year, so that dropped. Only had 76 total closings for Cape May Courthouse first half of this year compared to 112 last year.
Okay.
List price to sale price pretty identical. Did drop a little bit. 95% list price to sale price in 2023 compared to 97% in 2022. So a little bit of an adjustment there. Going into a little bit further south in North Cape May, your average sale price $433,000 for the first half of the year. That's a slight uptick compared to 2022. We only had 64 properties come on the market first half of the year. We had 79 come on last year. Pretty close though with the closings. We had 55 this year, 58 last year. So some of that inventory that was maybe available coming through the end of 2022, closed in 2023, so that that kind of bumps that number up a little bit there. Interesting enough, your average list price to sale price, they were kind of the same, Chris. It was 98% actually in 2023, the first half of the year. However, your average list price was $444,000, and the sale price was $433,000. They were running just under, it was 99.9% from North Cape May, but you were starting at $417,000. So there's that. Yep, you got a little bit less as far as your list price to sale price, but you're starting 20, 30, 40, in some cases $150,000 higher. So that sort of wraps up the North Cape May market, Chris, which gives us obviously the Barrier Islands and offshore as well. So we were looking at some of these different statistics, Chris. It's the first half of the year snapshot. Coming out of 2022 when it was just prices just, you know, skyrocketing, you know, towards the end of 2021. What are you kind of seeing here with regards to maybe any pattern or anything like that with the first half of the year?
Well, I think it's almost a mixed bag. I mean, I think almost across the board, most of the places that we cover, Joe, we saw that values were still increased. Okay, so that means that the values aren't coming down, right? So they're not necessarily seeing the price adjustments in major ways that would majorly affect the overall value of homes. Yes, as we talked about in the sale price to list price, you're seeing more variations. In most towns, it's kind of dropping a little bit. That means there's an adjustment going on in the pricing.
Sure.
Okay, that's just normal. Okay, what I would say is that what we're seeing across the board, though, is we are seeing a decrease in the number of properties coming on the market and a decrease in the number of homes selling.
Sure.
They're just working in conjunction with each other. To summarize, so that's why you're seeing that. It's just less choices. But here's the thing, folks. If you're a buyer out there, we have choices. There's a fair amount of property still for sale. It's not like there's zero in any of these towns. I assure you that's not the case. So there's still a lot of good inventory that's out there. You just need to get down here. You need to take a look at it. There's also a lot of buyers that might be sitting on the sidelines. They might be waiting. It's an opportunity for you to get into a home that meets your needs and your criteria. And as I mentioned, a few minutes ago here, if you're a seller and you're considering selling, reach out to us. We'll get you an equity evaluation because, I mean, this is the time. If there's ever been a time, the time is now. The values are still up, as we just said a minute ago. There's still low inventory. I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, what are you waiting for?
Right.
Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with all that, Joe.
Okay.
I don't think there was really any surprises in that we came across. I don't think there was like only any situations where like, oh my gosh, we're starting to come off the rails here.
Yeah.
I think it's just pretty much what we expected to see.
I would agree with you on that. Definitely what we were expecting, specifically when you get into the inventory levels, and then that just sort of, it's a trickle down. Low inventory, higher prices, and of course lower transactions just based on the amount of property that's out there. You nailed it though with the sellers. Just because the transactions are down does not mean we're dealing with less buyers. We have hundreds of buyers that come in every single month, that our team is working on. They're qualified, the criteria that they're looking for, they're out there. They're just looking for that specific property. So that'll wrap this video up for us here today. Chris, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you are looking to buy or sell, please reach out. Give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. It'll be our pleasure to help you with all your real estate needs down here at the Jersey Shore. Until next time, we'll see you at the beach.